Good evening and welcome to the Buck Stops here. I'm Vishnu Show. We've got a power-packed program for you, 3 big debates. The first one, you've heard it before, but unfortunately you may have to hear it again. The Bharat Mata Ki Jai debate is back. That's because Baba Ramdev, somebody the Haryana government wanted to give the rank of a cabinet minister, somebody who's been a brand ambassador for Haryana, has now said that had it not been for the law, he would have been okay with thousands of heads being hacked if people refused to say Bharat Mata Ki Jai. Is this not a direct effort at inciting violence? Also on the program today, it's a historic day for Jammu and Kashmir, the first woman chief minister of the state. Mehbooba Mufti is now in office, but there are inherent contradictions in the alliance between the BJP and the PDP. Dr. Farooq Abdullah and Amitabh Mattu join us in a face-off to look at the prospects of this government lasting its full term. And finally, on this program, the Panama Papers. What are they all about? They're supposed to be the biggest bit of investigation that has been done by journalists, hundreds of them around the world. What exactly do the Panama Papers reveal? Are we talking at evading the law through the creation of offshore companies, or just stretching the law a little bit? Or is this really a misplaced bit of investigation? That's what we'll be looking at on this program. But first, let's take a look at this controversial soundbite from Baba Ramdev.
कोई आदमी टोपी खड़ा होकर के टोपी पहन करके खड़ा हो जाता है, बोले मैं भारत माता की जय नहीं बोलूंगा, मुझे मेरी गर्दन काट लो। अरे इस देश में कानून है, इज्जत नहीं है कि क्या हम तो लाखों की गर्दन काट सकते हैं, लेकिन हम देश के कानून का सम्मान करते हैं। ऐसे खड़ा होकर के बोल दे, इसलिए भूतंकों के हौसले बुलंद हो जाते हैं। हम इस देश के कानून और संविधान का सम्मान करते हैं, नहीं तो कोई भारत माता का अपमान करे, एक नहीं हम हजारों लाखों के शीश कतल करने का सामर्थ्य है।
Mr. GVL Narasimha Rao, let me ask you this. Baba Ramdev is close to the BJP at the centre, also at the state. Can you as a party distance yourself from the remarks that he has made?
Vishnu, I'm not a spokesperson for Patanjali. I wish you had called somebody from there. We believe that chanting Bharat Mata Ki Jai is a way of paying respects to your motherland. We would certainly want everyone to pay their respect to the motherland.
No, but the remarks specifically made by Baba Ramdev.
Believe. Okay, I think we do, as a party, we do not support any form of violence. In a democracy, there is no scope for any form of violence, but you have to see the kind of provocations that you have had in the recent weeks. I think, unfortunately, you seem to have...
So he was provoked enough to say that had it not been for the law, we would have cut off the heads of thousands of people. Is there any provocation big enough to justify that remark?
Vishnu, this is quite unlike Baba Ramdev. I think we have heard him for a very long time. It's quite unlike him. But I think the kind of provocation that you have seen in the recent weeks.
So you can be provoked enough to be making these remarks.
And makes it a religious, Come again?
So basically what you're saying is that if you're provoked enough, it is okay for you to see these, it is okay for you to make these remarks.
I am not justifying anything, but I think media should also not be selective. You should look at the way some community organizations, religious organizations have issued fatwa.
100%.
Please do not black out such information.
Again, just to say the point that you're making, and I agree with you, GVL Narasimha Rao, 100%. I think the fatwa issued by the Deoband school is deeply regressive. And that fatwa says that if you say Bharat Mata Ki Jai, there is a fatwa against you. That is completely regressive. But do you not therefore, sir, by the same token, GVL Narasimha Rao, think the statement made by Baba Ramdev is deeply regressive?
I stated that upfront. I said
not really, sir.
This is what
not
the,
really,
the extended
sir.
part of what he said.
You are saying that he was provoked. You are saying that he was provoked.
No. I think you have to see this in context.
Okay.
But what he had said is quite not acceptable in a democracy we do not really subscribe to anyone calling for violence under any provocation or situation. But I am just narrating a situation, a background which could have prompted him to make this statement. Nevertheless, we do not support any statement.
This was a statement with the Himachal
subscribes to
Pradesh
any form
governor
of violence.
apparently over there as well. I believe the HP governor may even, and I would stand corrected on this, but he was certainly there in that spot. Perhaps he was on the dais, on the stage as well when this remark was made. He didn't think twice about making these remarks. Khushbu, doesn't the Congress party also find itself in a somewhat dodgy situation? Just a few days back in the Maharashtra Assembly, when there was this intense debate on Bharat Mata Ki Jai being said, you actually joined the BJP, you joined the Shiv Sena in condemning journalists, former journalists and now politicians like Imtiaz Jalil and MIM leaders over there, Asaduddin Owaisi, when they refused to say Bharat Mata Ki Jai, and Waris Pathan as well. So it's a double standard, isn't it, even for the Congress party?
No, it's not a double strategy. It's just that unfortunately we have reached a situation in the last 22 months where we are, after almost 70 years of independence, we are still discussing whether it's Bharat Mata Ki Jai or Vande Mataram, or it is Mera Hindustan Mahan or Mera Hindustan Zindabad or Marad-e Watan. We are still discussing that. It's really, really shameful that we have reached a situation under the governing body of Mr. Modi, BJP, in the last 22 months. Now coming to this, I think it's very... I don't know why we have reached a situation where we say that until unless you say Bharat Mata Ki Jai, you are not a nationalist. You are not
the
Hindustani.
MLAs in the Maharashtra Assembly who actually said this, Khushbu, Congress MLAs, they were wrong, right? Say that on record. They were wrong.
No, they were not wrong. It's just that what Mr. GVL Narasimha Rao said very nicely, defending Baba Ramdev, saying that he was provoked and immediately putting the issue on as to what the urban school said about the fatwa. Both the issues are regressive. Nothing is progressive. Everything is regressive here. We need to look at the progressive country. We have to look forward. We have to look in the front. We have to say as to what is going to take the India forward. We have heard songs, Sare Jahan se Acha Hindustan Hamara, Hum Bulbule Hain Iski Ye Gulistan Hamara. I mean, what are we saying? Mazhab nahi sikhata aapas mein bair rakhna, Hindvi hai hum, watan hai Hindustan hamara. This is what we have been taught in school, and what are we doing today? Why are we allowing mazhab? Why are we allowing religion? Why are we allowing that only if you say Bharat Mata Ki Jai, you are an Indian. If you say Marde Watan, you are not an Indian. If you say Jai Hind, you are an Indian. If you say something else, you are not an Indian. I mean, it's a complete crap. Come on, where are we going?
GVL Narasimha Rao, you wanted to come in?
Why are we discussing this?
No,
why are we discussing this?
So Khushbu, we are discussing it today because somebody has threatened violence. That's why we are discussing it today.
Absolutely,
I cannot agree more with you that we need to be discussing so much about development.
We are discussing, I'm glad we are discussing, but you know, unfortunately we have people from different walks of life. Probably a certain crowd looks up to them, and then you have people like them coming up and saying in public, you know, like if law would have allowed us, we would have chopped up their heads.
GVL Narasimha Rao has a point before I go across to my other panelists. Yes. Mr. GVL Narasimha Rao, yes.
Yeah, I think the Congress spokesperson, Ms. Khushbu, is trying to simply deflect attention from the manner that the Congress party and Rahul Gandhi stood with people who raised anti-national slogans. They supported, they take one stand inside Maharashtra Assembly. They take a, please let me, I did not interrupt you. I did not interrupt you, please.
Khushbu, one moment, let him make his point. I'll let you counter it. Let him make his point, I'll let you counter it. Khushbu, one moment, Mr. GVL Narasimha Rao, yes.
Now, I agree. I think 7 decades after independence, we have to debate these issues. I think hailing Mother India should come naturally to everyone. And if someone does not raise a slogan, that's not objectionable. But for people to openly say that we do not want to say Bharat Mata Ki Jai, for people to make provocative statements, for people to link it to religion, we would consider that an insult to the motherland. It's certainly an attempt to fan anti-national sentiments. I think that's what we are objecting to.
Khushbu, you are being accused of fanning anti-national sentiment.
I think anybody who stands against BJP is anti-national according to the BJP. Now let me come to Mr. GVL Narasimha's point. I think what Mr. Rahul Gandhi did, it takes a lot of courage and guts to stand by the students and say that people who do speak against the ruling governing body of this country are anti-nationalist. I think you need a lot of guts, and Mr. Rahul Gandhi has that guts and has that courage to do so. Now coming to him, Mr. GVL Narasimha Rao, Bharat Mata Ki Jai does not say that I'm patriotic. If I say Mera Bharat Mahan, Mera Hindustan Mahan, Hindustan Zindabad, that also means I'm patriotic. And why is it that everybody has to chant something to prove their patriotism or their nationalism? It's there within us. We all are taught in school. Jana Gana Mana is a national anthem, and today you have somebody coming up and saying Vande Mataram should be the national anthem. What are we trying to do to these people? Change the entire scenario of this country? What are we going and what are we looking at?
Okay,
let's have the courage to have a clear debate.
Professor Rakesh Sinha, come in over here. Where does the RSS stand on this issue? You have organic links with Baba Ramdev at one level. Will you come out and condemn this remark, this call for violence almost?
The first thing I would like to quote RSS Chief Mohan Bhagwat ji. He categorically said that discourse should be a democratic. It is a narrative of nationalism. And why RSS intervened in that narrative? Because the JNU incident we have seen. We have also seen that Sitaram Yechuri to Sonia Gandhi. All of them stood for those people who said Pakistan Jindabad and Bharat ke honge tukri.
No, I don't think he supported that statement at all.
This was indirectly supporting those people who are.
So Sonia Gandhi was endorsing people who stood up for Pakistan
they stood for those people who were protecting those slogan raisers. Let me complete my point. You can contest me. Second thing is that RSS wants a democratic discourse on Bharat Mata. Bharat Mata is not an empty slogan. There is a land, people and culture. There are certain people who consider land and people, but they say they don't have the concern for history. We have the legacy of the thousands of years. That is the intellectual and cultural legacies. And that is Bharat Mata. And one thing, Vishnu, the slogan...
So you disagree with Nehru's notion of Bharat Mata?
No, slogan of Bharat Mata has not originated in RSS headquarters. In 1857, the Red Fort, the last Mughal emperor, raised the first slogan, the Bharat Mata Ki Jai. Abul Kalam Azad raised...
No, but so Bharat Mata in your definition, and the definition of the RSS refers to what? It refers to India within her boundaries? It refers to the idea of India? What does it refer to?
Idea of India is not merely subjective, it is also objective. That is land,
objective in what?
Land, people and our culture.
Yes.
All three things constitute Bharat Mata. You can figure Bharat Mata as a woman, you can figure Bharat Mata as Mahatma Gandhi inaugurated a temple in 1936. That is the map of India. So you can raise slogan. My question is that those who are saying that they will not raise the Bharat Mata slogan, this means they are rejecting the entire legacy of the freedom movement. You see,
Rana, would you like to come in over here?
Last line. Nehru has written one sub-chapter in Discovery of India on what is the significance of Bharat Mata Ki Jai. So Bharat Mata Ki Jai is not the monopoly. I am saying as a RSS man, Bharat Mata Ki Jai is not the monopoly of the RSS. Even Arvind Kejriwal in his...
Bharat Mata Ki Jai is not the monopoly of anybody, right?
That's why I say.
So therefore, why should anybody assume it is the monopoly of them by insisting that others say it?
When Owaisi said that I would not say Bharat Mata Ki Jai at any cost, there must be some region, that is the Muslim League's stand in pre-partisan days.
Rana, you've been waiting very patiently. Come into this debate. There doesn't seem to be very much of a divergence on what
Vishnu,
Bharat Mata Ki...
It's good to see Rakesh Sinha of the RSS endorsing Jawaharlal Nehru.
Yes, it's a bit of a first, I must say. Professor Sinha, you would have surprised many.
It's a bit of I mean, Mr. Sinha has surprised all of us and pleasantly surprised at that. So between BJP and the RSS and the Congress, I'm confused as citizen of India as to where does my patriotism stand. If I refuse to say Bharat Mata Ki Jai and if I say Jai Hind or Sare Jahan Se Acha, does that make me less patriotic by the standard or benchmark or any of...
No, but Rana, flip the argument around. But a lot of people, why are they being diffident? Why don't they just say Bharat Mata Ki Jai? It sounds lovely. It sounds wonderful. I'm sure everybody would agree.
Right, but what?
So but Sare Jahan Se Acha Hindustan Hamara.
On the other side,
absolutely, they all sound wonderful.
Argument and say,
so why not say it? It's
Bharat
an ego.
Mata
So
Ki
this,
Jai
Rana,
is
this
not
boils
an
down to an ego
issue.
issue.
Bharat Mata
This
Ki
boils
Jai-
down to an ego battle at one level.
No, it's not an ego issue. It's not an ego issue. By that yardstick, Vishnu, then every political party with any religious affiliation will stand up and say, okay, why don't you chant Allahu Akbar? Because that is not a clarion call.
No, this
That
is
not anything to
but
do
is
with
this,
democracy,
Rana,
but
really
also
I have
a
one-
religion.
one-
The point is-
Rana, I
hang
know
on,
it's being made
hang
into
on,
a religious
hang on.
issue, but
My
you really think
problem
that's...
is-
Rana, you, one quick
No,
question.
one sec,
Exactly.
Professor. Let her
Bharat
finish.
Mata
Yes.
Ki Jai. Can I, Vishnu, just one point. Bharat Mata Ki Jai is the same as Jai Hind. So I do not understand why should anybody in
Correct.
this country be forced to say something which is
So that's
not in
my
the purview of the
count.
Indian
Rana,
Constitution,
you raised the
which
very
is not a
right.
democratic
You have put
right.
up your point.
Mr. Sinha, hear me out.
I have
Mr.
just
Okay, Rana, one
Sinha,
second.
Mr.
I
Sinha,
have just
hear
a
me out.
counter argument. You,
Mr.
according to you,
Sinha.
Bharat Mata.
Rana, I'll come back to you. Rana, I'll come back to you,
Bharat
yes.
Mata Ki Jai and Jai Hind both are the same. Then why you are avoiding Bharat Mata Ki Jai? What are the reasons? I just want 1, 2, 3 reasons.
So why not Jai
Is it a
Hind is what
religious
the
context?
argument
In a
is.
religious
Why
context?
not Jai Hind?
It
What
is a
is the problem
communal
with Jai Hind?
context, or it is something. It is something.
But Khushbu, no one is denying
It is
you.
something
Where
in
is
which
the
is
BJP or the
ideology
RSS
or politics is
that
involved.
the other...
Bharat Mata Ki Jai, Jai Hind, Sare Jahan
So no one says anything about that.
Mother Earth, everything
We
is the
accept
same.
every slogan, so we don't exclude any slogan. You are excluding. I am saying the slogans
You're
are
not
inclusive.
excluding. Why
All
are you
slogans are
forcing
inclusive.
it?
Bharat Mata Ki
Problem,
Jai
why are
is
you
first among
forcing
equals.
it?
All slogans are
Why we
equal.
can't say
All
it?
slogans
Okay,
are
okay, you made an important point.
Why do you-
Bharat
why do you
Mata
blame-
Ki
why
Jai,
do you
you
label
believe,
it
is the
as
first
Sinha?
slogan among equals. So therefore, all right, respond to that, Rana Ayub.
Mata Ki Jai, it will go beyond this.
That's the problematic
Mr.
thing,
Sinha,
according to
if
many
I
people.
have
Why
no
should
issues
anybody
in
say
saying-
that this
I
is the
have no
first
issues in
among
saying
equals?
Bharat Mata Ki
They are all
Jai.
equal.
Yes.
Nobody is first, nobody is second. They're all slogans
Yes.
and they're all patriotic.
This is
Vishnu, can I
courageous.
make
I'm
one point
telling you.
here?
Other
Vishnu,
slogans
I want
have.
to make one point
Rana,
here.
Rana,
It
let
does
me.
not-
Rana, half a second.
Just
Rana,
give
half
me
a
30
second.
seconds. Other slogans have come up during the historical process. But Bharat Mata Ki Jai is a concept of Mother India. This is a concept of Indian nationalism. If you are rejecting that concept, that's fine.
No, but then nobody is rejecting
No,
that.
if you are rejecting, if you are
Nobody's
Vishnu,
rejecting
if
the
you are not
concept.
rejecting Bharat Mata, mother and
By
their
that
children.
yardstick,
This is
Mr.
the
Sinha,
relationship between
Inqilab
Bharat Mata.
Zindabad is also a very nice
You know,
concept.
in the Indian tradition, the land is
Inqilab
considered as mother.
Zindabad.
Land is considered
Okay, one
Veda.
second.
Veda,
One second.
land is
Rana
considered.
Ayub
Zindabad,
first and
Jai Hind
Khushbu, I'll come
means-
to you next. Rana Ayub, go ahead.
You know what, Rakesh, it's not about Bharat Mata Ki Jai per se. It's about this entire, forceful argument. Because it will not stop at this. It does not stop at Bharat Mata Ki Jai. And let me tell you, Inqilab Zindabad is also a slogan from the freedom movement.
So we
Tomorrow
say
when you
Inqilab
start
Zindabad.
telling
Every
ABVP
political
members
party
of
say
the
Inqilab
members of
Zindabad. This is the
BJP,
most famous slogan. Nobody says if there is a demonstration, I will be the first
Brilliant,
person to raise
brilliant.
this
But the
slogan.
point is-
Inqilab
but the
Zindabad.
point is,
I
it's
just
not
say,
about-
why don't you
Mr.
include
Sinha,
Bharat Mata
hear
Ki
me
Jai in
out.
your
Mr.
curriculum?
Sinha.
In your curriculum, in
Are
your
you
narrative,
saying
Bharat
that?
Mata Ki Jai is a communal? Just
Because
tell
it
me,
does not
is it
stop
a
Okay, one
communal?
second, Rana.
Mata Ki
Professor
Jai.
Sinha, one moment.
It has
Khushbu,
become
you had a point
why?
before I go
Why
back to
is it
GVL
happening
Narasimha Rao.
Mr.
Khushbu,
Rakesh
go ahead,
Sinha,
yes.
Your misplaced concerns and false equivalence is responsible that today, in today's day and age, the country is discussing patriotism rather than the black money issue, rather than the Panama leaks.